Hi-yo, YouTube. My name is Dexter, and welcome to this Heroes of the Storm Theorycraft video, starring the new hero coming out, Fenix, the Steward of the Templar. I believe that was his title, something like that. Damn close if it's not that. But Dragoon, and I like him. He's not a tank like I was kind of hoping he would be. I mean, he's not a tank hero like I was kind of hoping it would be, because we don't need more assassins. But he's an auto attack assassin, so I'm okay with that. He deals sustained damage, but he deals sustained damage, and he's also kind of susceptible to it at the same time. It's kind of weird. But, let's talk about his abilities real quick. Or rather, before I get into that, I'm going to be here for a while. We're going to be here for a long, long time. So if you're not up for that, feel free to bounce out. But for the rest of you chuckle nuts, buckle up, because we're in this for the long haul. So, away we go. I'll start with his trait. Shield Capacitor. Fenix has permanent shields, which regenerate 10% 10% per second if they haven't taken damage for 5 seconds. It doesn't matter what level you're at, it's always 10% of your shields every second for after 5 seconds of not taking damage. So you walk up to a tower, you get hurt, and then you walk away. 5 seconds later, you'll get your shields back after 10 seconds. I mean, you'll get your shields back immediately after the 5 seconds, but it takes 10 seconds for them to come back completely to get all your shields back. His Q button is called Plasma Cutter, and you choose the start and end point and the total radius, or the radius size. So wherever I choose to put this laser cutter is where it will deal its damage. And it makes 2 passes. 1, 2. It starts and it does, basically, if you put the starting point on somebody, it'll deal 3 ticks of damage if you can keep it there. If you can, it does 2. As long as you can keep enemies in range. And the total size increases how quickly it spins. So it spins really quick at really long ranges, and spins really slowly up close. Well, I don't want to say up slowly. I don't want to say it spins slowly up close, but the larger the radius, the technically faster it'll go. His W button switches between 2 attack modes, which is a long, or not a long range, a medium range. Yeah, I'd say medium range rapid fire cannon called a repeater cannon, or a long range AoE bomb that does bonus damage, 25% bonus damage, but is much, much slower. He gains bonus range. He gains 1.5 bonus range, but loses basically a full second off every attack. So he doesn't get 2 attacks per second, he barely gets 1. He doesn't even get 1, he gets 0.74 attacks per second. So it takes like 1.5 seconds to fire 2 shots. His E button is interesting. It's Warp. And after a 0.5 second channel, you show up wherever you decide you want to go. Enemies can't see where you're going, but they sure as shit can see you where you're starting and can interrupt you. If you're interrupted, then the warp stops. And his ultimates, I'm just going to jump up to level 10 real quick, are pretty interesting. I like them. Purification Salvo is my favorite. Fire a barrage of homing missiles. After 1.5 seconds, you'll fire 5 missiles that deal, at level 10, 127 damage, or 50% more if the target is slowed. A little caveat I will give you real quick is if you're channeling, when you start channeling this beam, and it locks on to anything in this cone, it sweeps from basically your left to the right. You can't change which direction this sweeps, and it only does one sweep. But any enemy that gets hit by the sweeper is marked, and no matter what they do, they can't get away from the mark anymore. If they are marked, they cannot get away from it. While you're sweeping, you can move, and after it starts, you can't be interrupted. Or rather, the missiles can't be interrupted. But they can be mitigated if you're fighting like a diva or something, or the enemy team gets armor, but that's neither here nor there. But it also does bonus damage, does 50% more damage to slowed targets. Additionally, and this is going to take a little bit of getting used to, but if you want to channel, when you start channeling this, you're locked into it. Even if you're doing another effect, like, I don't know, let's say Plasma Cutter. You are locked into whatever channel you were doing before you activate the sweeper. So, you can sweep, and then you can hit people with the Plasma Cutter. Or with the, you can Plasma Cutter, then hit people with the sweeper. I think it stops you from auto-attacking, but the slow from the plasma cutter lasts for 4 seconds, and that takes 1.5 seconds to charge, and then an additional 1 second to actually fire the missiles, I believe, in total. Like, it takes an additional second to fire out every single one. So you can sweep around people and then hit them with a bunch of lasers. And it's pretty cool, and you can keep moving while you're channeling either of those effects. You just can't auto-attack, because whatever you're doing at the time of initiating the sweep is what you're stuck doing when the sweep is happening, and after it fires the missiles. The other ultimate choice is called Planet Cracker, and it is a global skill shot. It does damage to anything that isn't a building. So, like those 3 guys over there, they're going to eat a lot of damage. At level 10, it does damage every 0.25 seconds, 155 damage at a time, every 0.25 seconds, 4 times every second for 1 second. The only caveat is that you can't move while you're channeling it, but you can cancel it to warp out or do anything else, really. One thing I like is that you can warp and queue up an ability while warping. So if you want to be real smooth, you can I mean, you can do that. Oh, I know that cancels it. Never mind. Does it put it on full cooldown though? If I hit that and then warp, yep, puts it on full cooldown. Okay. So you can the idea is that you want to warp in and then oh hey Arthas, hey buddy, I didn't know you were still here. I completely forgot I still had you in. Why are you active? You should be gone. But okay, I guess he's there still. He's still there. Hey, Artie. Toggle minions. Select enemy hero. Abathur. I just want to get rid of him real quick. I thought he was gone. Abathur, none. Toggle minions. Get the hell out, minions. But yeah, basically when you're warping, you can queue up actions. So, if you it's like Diablo. If you play a lot of Diablo, you can queue up your headbutt or you can queue up your grab after you headbutt somebody. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to turn on minions again. I'm going to select enemy hero. It's going to go back to Abathur. And then I'm going to get rid of Abathur because I don't think this should be working. Select enemy hero. None. Nope, he ain't going anywhere. He is not disappearing. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Fenix. I like him. I like the sounds of Fenix. I also apologize if I sound very scratchy. This is my 3rd attempt, and I haven't been drinking enough water today. So let's fix that. Let's go take a drink of water. Alright, so those are his ultimates. Those are his basic abilities. Now let's talk about some of his talents. Reset talents. My personal favorite at level 1 is Advanced Targeting. Hitting enemy heroes with Plasma Cutter permanently increases Fenix basic attack damage by 1, up to 80 bonus damage. But if you hit 30 heroes with Plasma Cutter, it'll cause the cutter to spin an additional time. And I like it, only because it pairs very, very, very well with the Purifier Salvo, because I like Purifier Salvo, it's fun. Purifier Salvo you just take if you've got a lot of crowd control on your team, namely slows. Like Arthas, or Arthas. He's really the only one I can think of right now. But it's my favorite, but I'll talk about the rest of them all. I'll talk about all of them as well. Arsenal Synergy is weird, but it still works. After hitting enemy heroes with 3 basic attacks with Repeater Cannon, the next phase bomb you fire does 100% more damage and splashes in a 50% larger radius. There's a ding that happens whenever that's ready to fire off, and I'll let you hear it real quick. You'll also, if you can't hear it, just keep your eyes on Repeater Cannon, on the icon of Repeater Cannon. It'll change. It'll glow yellow. But here we go. I'll shut up real quick just so you can hear the ding. I don't know if it's actually going to come through or not, but there is an audible cue that happens whenever the skill procs. But here we go. See, there it is. I don't know if you heard it or not, but it makes the thing glow yellow, and it makes your next pulse bomb deal bonus damage in a much larger area. And then the last one is Mobile Offense. or mobile offense. I said that weird. Mobile offense. After moving unmounted, Fenix's next basic attack deals 30% more damage to heroes. It's really hard to pull off with repeater cannon, because the repeater cannon fires basically 2 shots every second. I'm trying my best to show you what it would be like to get the most amount of damage out, but I'm not the best at marine microing, at stutter stepping, whatever you want to call it. It was called marine microing in StarCraft. So I'm gonna call it that, because this is to celebrate StarCraft's 20th anniversary. So I'm gonna use StarCraft terms, even though I don't know any of them. But it's a lot easier to pull off with a pulse bomb. It's just less damage overall, because you only have to like attack every basically second. You only have to put in an attack command every second, and it's a lot easier to pull off. But it is I think it is roughly the same amount of damage. It's just a lot easier to do it. It's harder to do it with the repeater cannon. It's a lot less, I don't want to say effective. It's just a lot more effort that you need to put in to actually get it to work. So I'm not a super big fan of it. I like advanced targeting more. But Arsenal Synergy pairs well with a 16 talent, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But I'll go with advanced targeting, because that's my favorite. And level 4 talents are interesting. I like most of them. But I think... Sorry, I took a drink of water. I think my favorite is probably Emergency Protocol. When shield capacitors' shields are depleted, gain 30% movement speed for 5 seconds, otherwise known as, if you don't get hit, you get your shields back, and if you don't get hit, rather, you keep your speed buff for the same amount of time it would take to get your shields back. Or rather, for your shields to start regenning. And it's mount speed, keep that in mind. You go at mount speed when Emergency Protocol triggers. So you just get shot a little bit, you get shot, you're getting shot, time to... Oh wait, no, I didn't take it. So let's fix that. So you're in the middle of a fight. You're getting shot. You're getting hit by towers, and then you just scuttle away super quick. Whee! For 5 seconds until your shields start to come back. I mean, if you get hit again, it's not. It doesn't mean that as long as you don't have shields, you get bonus movement speed. It means that if you avoid damage for 5 seconds, or rather, it gives you the ability to avoid damage for 5 seconds. It doesn't refresh every time your shields break, or at least I don't think it does. Let me find out. I'm fairly certain it does not refresh when your shields break every time they break. I think it's only good, but we're gonna find out. So it wore off. Now, if they break again, do I get the buff back? Yeah, I do. So, okay, anytime you run out of shields, as long as you... Okay, so that's going to pair phenomenally with a level 13 talent that I'm a big fan of. Because, like I said, I've tried... Or I don't know if I said it or not, but I've tried this a couple times. Yeah, I said it. That's why I brought over this glass of water. I've said it a couple times now, but third time, trying to record this video. I'm getting a little scratchy. My throat definitely feels a little scratchy right now. I don't know if it's coming through or not, but I definitely feel quite scratchy. But I'm a big fan of Emergency Protocol. Target acquired is really good if you have a partner to pair it with who can slow people. Basic attacks against slowed heroes with repeater cannon grant 10% movement speed for 4 seconds, stacking up to 40%. And I believe it refreshes every time you hit them. Inhibiting energy is for you specifically. Only you can benefit from this, and only you can initiate it. While Phase Bomb is active, basic attacks against heroes that have been slowed by Plasma Cutter specifically. All enemies in the area of your Phase Bomb will be slowed by 35% for 4 seconds every time you shoot. But the slow only lasts for 4 seconds. Your Phase Bombs are on a 0.75 second cooldown. Or not a 0.5 second cooldown. You get 0.7 of them every second. And it'll slow enemies for 35% instead of 25%. So 10% additional slow for a little bit more work than it's probably worth. And then Warp Conduit. Takedowns reset warps cooldown. So you warp in, you get the kill, and then you warp out. Kind of like Li Ming, only Li Ming blinks in and out immediately. You have a 0.5 second channel time every time you want to warp somewheres. Which I don't like. I don't like that. But I'm going to keep with Emergency Protocol because I like Emergency Protocol. Combat Advantage, I like that one a lot because it pairs really, really well with the talent I take at level 1, where if I can get 30 hits on it, I get 30% bonus, or 30 more attack damage, and I get a 1 more lap on the advanced targeting with Plasma Cutter. Combat Advantage deals 50% more damage to slowed targets. So, even if I don't have an ally that can slow people, if I can slow somebody with Plasma Cutter, at level 7, I can do more damage on the next pass, because I'll be able to keep pace with them. Because the Plasma Cutter slows them for 4 seconds. It doesn't tell me how long I channel it for, but it says it slows them for 4 seconds. So, you hit them once. Oh, wait, wrong button. You hit them once, and then if you can keep pace with them, I mean, you can because they're slowed now, you can do 50% more damage on the next pass. I like it. I don't know if it's going to be the go-to talent, because Warp Warfare also sounds really fun. After arriving with Warp, gain 125% attack speed for 4 seconds while in repeater cannon mode. This one pairs, again, really well with Arsenal Synergy, but it's a little tricky to pull off, because every time you warp in, you fire off 3 shots, and I think the warp in attack speed value is something in the ballpark of like 2.4 attacks per second? 2.2 attacks per second? I don't remember what exactly it was, but basically, you fire off 2 attacks. The other thing, or rather, you fire off 3 attacks and then switch off to the bomb. The only problem I have with the bomb is if you switch, or rather, when you switch, it does not reset your attack timer. So, if you switch to bomb after immediately firing a shot, you have to wait the 0.75 seconds it takes to fire that shot. So, like, right now. See how much time's in between those that damage? It's really weird. You basically have to switch when a shot's in midair, like when the 4th shot is in midair. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and then switch, and then fire off a new one. Or rather, the best way to do it is just switch after the 4th shot. But that doesn't really pair well. I'm not a super big fan of the delay. I wish when you switched it would reset your attack timer. But that would also be too strong, because then you could just switch back and forth endlessly to get bonus damage. Because, like, oh yeah, I hit you once, and then here's another one, ha! And then hit you again, and then, ah! You get another shot. Congratulations. And it wouldn't be, it'd be a lot of needless, button presses, and it would just do a lot of damage. Because this mode does more damage in a wider area. It's just a little bit slower. So if it reset the attack timer, it wouldn't. It'd be a little annoying to deal with, because you just get 25% more damage all the time. There'd be no reason to switch over to repeater mode. But the last ability is Divert Power Weapons. Activate to instantly drain shield capacitor's shield, but increase basic attack damage by 80% of the shield drain for 5 seconds. Now, I think they might have this worded incorrectly. I don't know for certain, but I've got 1,200 shields. I don't think when I got 1,200 shields. My attack damage is 148, basically 150. When I hit the 1 button, it's not going to go up by 80% of 1,200. Because 80% of 1,200 is like what? 800? No, not 800. That was that'd be 75% of it. So it'd be like 850, but doesn't get that high. Doesn't get anywhere near that high. I think it might just mean increases your attack by 80% of whatever weapon you're using, because it also applies to the bomb. The bomb does 185. So we're gonna toggle. Oh, I don't want to complete quests. I want to toggle cooldowns. So okay, let's say I've been doing really, really well. So I now have 228 damage. I'm gonna pop this real quick. Go up to 410. That's 228 to 410. I'm bad at math. Someone do that for me. I want to know if it's the same amount. That's 265 up to 477. So I think it might be the same. I'm just going to write that down real quick so I can figure this out on my own. So it would be, what is it in repeater cannon form? 410. 410 from 228, was it? Yeah, 228. I'm bad at math, but I don't think it's the same amount as 265 to 477. But let's find out. 477 and 265. I don't think it's the same amount. It might be. It's pretty close. 200% damage, it's roughly 200 damage. No, I think it's just a flat. I think it's just an 80% increase of your total, like 80% increase of your total attack damage, not of the shields that drain out. So they might be lying to us. They have that worded weirdly, I think. But it is more damage. No matter which way you slice it, it is more damage. But it's kind of risky to use because it gets rid of your one defense, which is your shields. As any good Protoss unit has. They have shields, or as any good Protoss unit, if they all have shields, and Fenix's passive is that he just has shields permanently. And then Purification Salvo is the one that I would take. I'm gonna reset talents real quick. Back to Advanced Targeting, Emergency Protocol. I'm gonna take Combat Advantage because I like that one more. Purification Salvo, but then we're gonna set ourselves up to level 20, and I'll reread all the numbers on my ultimate real quick. Oh, I gotta select all these again. Emergency Protocol. Combat Advantage. Purification Salvo. Level 20 does 190 damage. 50% more if they're slowed. Per missile. So that's just shy of 1,000 damage for one target if they're not slowed after 1.5 seconds of delay. As long as you don't get interrupted as long as you don't get interrupted, you're good to go. Purification Salvo. So, level 13 talents are all defensive talents. Adanium Shell. After arriving with warp, gain 40% armor, or 40 armor for 4 seconds. So, warp in, you're harder to kill for 4 seconds, but only after you warp in. Dampening Field. Fenix gains 15% spell armor, so you take 15% less damage while you have shields active from Shield Capacitor. Rapid Recharge is my favorite. Whenever Fenix is healed, Shield Capacitor's shield recharges for 20% of the shielding or of the healing received. So, let's say you have a Rhaegar who took Ancestral Healing. In the middle of a fight, he hits you with Ancestral Healing because you're about to die. I think Ancestral at level 20 heals for like 1800 health. 20% of that will be added on top of... 20% of 1700 is roughly 300? I think. I'm bad at math. I keep saying that. I can't stress how bad I am at math. So, you'd get the healing from Rhaegar plus more shields. On top of that, 20% of the healing that you just got would be added to your shield pool immediately. And then Auxiliary Shields is the one that I like Auxiliary Shields the most. It basically gives you sustain without giving you healing. Permanently increases Fenix's shield capacitor by 20%, but reduces his health by 10%. But basic attacks generate 20% of the damage they deal as shields, or regenerate 20% of the damage that you deal as shields. So, with your Pulse Cannon, a Repeater Cannon, you deal a lot of damage to a single target. With Pulse Bomb, you deal a lot of damage to everybody in an area. So it's like 20% of, like, let's say you hit 3 people, 20% of 600. Rather, it's close to 750. 20% of 750 damage comes back to you. Or 20% of 200 comes back to you. It's all in all pretty decent. Or rather, 220 comes back to you, and that is without my damage upgrade from my level 1 talent. I'm just gonna shoot this little bastard. Although he is pretty quick, I like that. I do like that. I'm a big fan of Rapid Recharge. I like really all of them are good though, depending on what you want to go for. None of them are bad per se. They're just kind of niche. Like, this one is for if you're up against nothing but mages. This is if you want to be, like, the cleanup crew for your team. So you take, like, Warp Conduit and, Adanium Shell. So when you choose to warp in, you won't die immediately. Because you're not the most durable of targets. You're not the most durable. You do have, like, 4,000 health. But half of it is in the form of shields. You have 4,500 health, rather. And, like... 45% of it is in shields. The other half is in your actual health bar. The rest of it's in your actual health bar. But I'm going to take Rapid Recharge just to assume that I have a support on my team at all times. And Offensive Cadence is what I was talking about, is another talent that pairs very, very well with the level 1 talent of Arsenal Synergy. Every third basic attack against heroes with repeater cannon deal an additional 6% of the target's maximum health as bonus damage. So, it's basically Vala's Manticore, but I think worse. Or maybe it's on par, but it's only for the repeater cannon, your fastest firing weapon. Photonic Weaponry increases Fenix's attack damage by just 15% more damage. Not even attack damage, it's just more damage. 50% more damage when you have shields up. Yeah. That's not bad at all. And then Arsenal Overcharge, which is my favorite because it applies to his heroic as well. It just says abilities. Basic attacks reduce ability cooldown by 0.5 seconds. So it really only works with repeater cannon, but it will lower your cooldowns on everything that you have. So let's say, I don't know, you use Purifier Beam for some reason, or Planet Cracker rather. 100-second cooldown. You basically take 1 second off at every second if you're auto-attacking. So if you're in the middle of a lane, your Planet Crackers is essentially on a 50-second cooldown. I mean, it's a little bit longer. It'd be closer to like a 60-second cooldown because you gotta wait for the minions to come to you. But basically, if you're just constantly attacking something, you take a second off of your ultimate every second. So you have its cooldown, basically. But my favorite is Arsenal Overcharge. I do appreciate offensive cadence. If you are up against tanks, that one's really good. If you're not up against tanks, this one's pretty decent because it's just more damage no matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter what build you're going for, it's just more damage with Photonic Weaponry. And then lastly, he doesn't have upgrades directly for his ultimates anymore. Or he doesn't have upgrades for his ultimates, rather. Not anymore, he just doesn't have them. Secondary Fire. Hitting an enemy hero with Plasma Cutter fires a purification salvo at them. A single missile, rather. A single purification missile at them. After 0.5 seconds, dealing the same amount of damage, and with the same bonus damage if they're slowed. Singularity Charge. Repeater Cannon grants 200% more attack speed, and Phase Bomb grants 2.5 more range. So, if you want to go for this one pairs really well with Arsenal Synergy as well. And then Unconquered Spirit, I think, is just the way to go. Unless you have like a Karazim or someone who is like dedicated to keeping your dumbass alive, which for me, yes, that is an appropriate expression. Keeping my stupid ass alive is a full-time job. But Unconquered Spirit, taking fatal damage, shield capacitor regains basically half of your total health as shields, and on a 2-minute cooldown, so you can potentially keep the fight going. So you lose all your shields. And then you lose all your health. And then you get an additional 50% of your health back at level 20 to keep it going. To keep fighting. I fail to see how that's a problem. That's probably the go-to, but I do like Secondary Fire because, like I said, I'm just going to show it off real quick. You can channel while sweeping the beam. And then while you're sweeping it, you get bonus damage. You fire like 7 missiles at a target instead of only 5 for 50% bonus damage. Mind you, you have to hit people with this, and it's kind of hard to use it while on the move. But you do bonus damage. It's really hard to pass up. But yeah, this is the combo. I like it. I like it a lot. And if you hit 30 people, you can get a third shot out, which does even more damage. And it's just fun. But that's the build I would go with. Swap out Secondary Fire for Conquered Spirit if you don't have a support, or you just don't want to die. But that's the build that I would go with, and there's like one or two other builds that I've kind of come up with. But I'll just knock them all out. I'll just go with the Arsenal Synergy build first. So you take obviously Arsenal Synergy. I'm torn between Warp Conduit or Emergency Protocol. I think Warp Conduit's the way to go because you can deal a lot of damage with this build if you do it right. Only if you do it right. And then Warp Warfare at level 7. Whatever ultimate you want to go for. I don't think either of them are a bad choice. I'm gonna default to Purification Salvo though because I'm a chump. I keep trying to say Adamantium. Adanium Shell. Because I like that one. Offensive Cadence. And Singularity Charge. The point of this build is to warp in, shoot someone 3 times, switch to your Pulse Bomb, blow them the fuck up, and then switch back to your Pulse Bomb, or switch back to your Repeater, and then blow them up again. So, I'm going to reread all these talents super quick. If I auto-attack somebody with a repeater cannon 3 times, my next pulse bomb does 100% bonus damage in a 50% wider area. Warp Conduit just resets my cooldown if I can kill somebody with this combo. Warp Warfare gives me 125% bonus attack speed with my repeater cannon, so I can get my pulse bombs out faster. Adanium Shell, so when I warp in, I don't die immediately. Offensive Cadence to deal bonus damage. It's just bonus damage. And then Singularity Charge for even more bonus damage. So my attack speed in my repeater cannon is 2.22. So I get I basically get 2 attacks every second. So you warp in, click on that guy. Unfortunately, I haven't quite got the timing down on the pulse bomb, but that's basically how it works. You warp in and deal 4,000 damage, point and click. Like 1, 2, 3, and then get the bomb out. Can I do it a third time? I cannot do it a third time while the buff is active, but basically you get 2 pulse bombs, 6 shots, and if you wanted to add it on top, you could get this. Whoops. I didn't do that quite right. I hit R too many times, but I'll just pop that out real quick. I want to see if I can get this like actually working. So I warp in, click on you, get that going. Oh, I hit the wrong button. God damn it. Okay. Let's start this again. Warp in. I did hit the right button. Damn it. Okay, so it's a lot of button presses, but basically the idea is that I want to warp in, have my plasma cutter spinning, shoot somebody 3 times, switch off from my bomb, and then shoot somebody 3 more times and switch to my bomb again. So I warp in, plasma cutter, get you going. Oh, I hit that button way too early. But yeah, that's the idea. You warp in and then you shoot somebody and do like 4,500 damage to them immediately. Like point and click. It doesn't really matter what they do. You just get to warp in. It's really aggressive. If you're a big fan of playing Li Ming, this will be right up your alley. If you're not a fan of playing Li Ming, this probably still will be up your alley because you can basically erase somebody. 5,000 health is a lot of damage to take immediately in like 3 seconds. It's pretty ridiculous. That's the build I would go with, or that's another build I would go with. It's very aggressive. You just blink over walls, you beat the shit out of people. Because you have bonus attack speed with your Singularity Charge, which is dealing percent bonus. Or well, I can't really use these guys as an effective measure because I'm doing like 400 damage every 3rd shot. So I'll bring out like Arthas, I guess. Come out here, Artie. I want to introduce you to something. Come on out here, big guy. Come on out here. I'll toggle minions just so I can show this off real quick. And the last build I'd go with is oh, hey, Artie. So, I'm going to warp in. I'm going to hit Plasma Cutter. See, look at that. Look at that. That was like 1 ability rotation. He's already almost dead. Look at that. And there's not really anything they can do about it. They show up and they're going to get shot. Or rather, you show up and they're going to get shot. Hey, Artie. Like, that's ridiculous. There's no way. That's not fun to deal with. That's not going to be fun for anybody to deal with. Not even Li Ming, who is like renowned for having like probably the best burst damage in this game. If she can land her abilities. It's a pretty big if though. But the last build that I had that I've since forgotten. Rather no, I don't think there was another build. A lot of his talents can be swapped out for whatever you might need, but those 2 are the ones that I would go with. Those 2 are the ones that I'd feel the most comfortable with. Namely, like the spell damage auto attack hybrid, caster auto attacker. But I'm gonna go. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode nearly as much as I did. I don't know what else to call it. I'm gonna call it an episode. This theory crafting video. But yeah, I'm looking forward to him. I think Fenix is gonna be a nice addition. Hopefully they keep on this track of adding nice heroes that people both know and are not retardedly broken like Maiev. But I'm gonna go. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope this was enlightening or educational in the slightest. If it wasn't, let me know, and I'll work on it. But I'm going to go. For those of you who are new, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. But if not, carry on your merry way. But for the rest of you ramblers, I'll catch you on the next episode, on the next video. Whatever hero they might decide to release next. So, I'm going. Bye, everybody. It's been a ton of fun.